Argentina has a serious problem, a very serious problem. His name is Jude Bellingham. You think Messi has seen everything this World Cup. He hasn't seen this, because right now there is one player standing between Argentina and history, and he doesn't care about the pressure, the stage, or the name on the other shirt. Don't believe it? Look at the numbers. Bellingham has scored 6 goals at this World Cup. 6. That puts him level with Gary Lineker in 1,986. And Harry Kane, the only England players in history to reach 5 or more goals in a single tournament. And he didn't do it against nobody. A goal against Croatia to open the tournament. A goal against Panama to break a stubborn deadlock. An early strike against DR Congo in the round of 32. 2 goals in 2 minutes against Mexico, a defense that hadn't conceded once all tournament until England broke them. And then in extra time against Norway, with everyone exhausted and Erling Haaland's fairy tale run on the line. But here is the part that should really worry Argentina. This is not new. This has been building for years. Rewind to 2019. A 16-year-old kid walks out for Birmingham City and becomes the youngest player in the club's history. Not the youngest promising kid, the youngest, period. Scouts across Europe start writing his name down. Borussia Dortmund get there first. £25 million for a teenager nobody outside England had heard of. Within a season, Bellingham isn't just playing for Dortmund, he's driving them. Composure that belonged to players twice his age. A DFB Pokal title. A reputation as the best young midfielder on the continent. Then Real Madrid happened. And here's what most people forget. This wasn't a guaranteed success story. Real Madrid have a history of paying huge money for young stars who never adapted, who buckled under the weight of that shirt. Everyone assumed Bellingham would need time, a season to settle, maybe 2. Nobody expected what actually happened. Bellingham arrives at the biggest club in the world and does something almost nobody does. He makes it look easy from game 1, a brace on his league debut. By the end of his first season, he's not just settling in. He's the best player in Spain, a La Liga title, a Champions League trophy. 45 goals and 29 assists in just 132 appearances, numbers that belong to a forward, not a midfielder. And if you still think he only shows up for club football, remember Euro 2024, England on the brink of elimination against Slovakia, seconds away from going home. Bellingham doesn't panic. He produces an overhead kick in stoppage time that saves England's entire tournament. That is not a lucky goal. That is a player who has decided he performs when it matters most every single time. So when people ask how Bellingham can be doing this to grown men at a World Cup, the answer is simple. He has been doing it his entire career. This is just the biggest stage he's ever had. Now break down exactly how he scored these 6 goals, because this is what makes him impossible to plan for. Watch the Croatia goal closely. This isn't a tap-in off a cross. Bellingham picks up the ball outside the box in a difficult, cagey opening match, cuts inside past a defender who has no answer for the change of direction, and finishes low into the corner with his own 2 feet doing all the work. 47 minutes into his tournament, and he's already shown he doesn't need service. He can simply decide to score. Panama sit deep, 10 men behind the ball, refusing to give England a single yard. For over an hour, nothing works. Then Saka finds half a yard of space on the right, and Bellingham is already moving before the ball arrives, not reacting to the pass, anticipating it. 62 minutes of patience rewarded in half a second of perfect timing. DR Congo, round of 32. 19 minutes on the clock. Most players are still finding their first touch that early in a knockout match. Bellingham punishes hesitation before the game has even settled into a rhythm, arriving into space that shouldn't exist yet. Then Mexico, the real statement. A defense that hadn't conceded a single goal in 5. Matches the tightest unit left in the tournament. Bellingham doesn't just break them. He breaks them twice in 2 minutes. The first is a header, timing his run to the back post and rising above. two defenders who both had position on him and still couldn't get there first. The second is almost the opposite skill entirely, a tap-in, ghosting into space, nobody tracked, arriving at. Exactly the moment the ball did. Two different types of finish, back-to-back, against the same backline. That's not instinct. That's a player reading two completely different patterns of danger in the same match. And then Norway. Extra time. 30 minutes of football added onto 90, legs completely gone, an entire nation's fairy tale run against Brazil conquering Norway, hanging on this exact moment. This is where most players make mistakes, tired decisions, heavy touches, rushed finishes. Bellingham is the calmest man on the pitch. He finds the winner when every other player around him has nothing left to give. 5 matches, 5 completely different methods of scoring. That is not a hot streak. That is a complete forwards toolkit operating out of a central midfield position. And it's exactly why he's currently sitting inside the conversation for the tournament's Golden Boot, a race most people assumed belonged only to out-and-out strikers like Haaland and Mbappe. Nobody built their Golden Boot predictions around a midfielder. Bellingham didn't ask for permission. Now think about who Argentina actually are walking into this semi-final. This is Messi's 4th and almost certainly final World Cup. He turns 39 during this tournament. Everyone around this Argentina squad knows the clock is running out on this exact version of the team, the same core group that won it all in Qatar. That creates something dangerous. A team that isn't just trying to win, but trying not to be the generation that let it slip away. And that kind of pressure doesn't always bring out the best in a squad. It can just as easily tighten legs and slow decisions in the biggest moments, exactly when composure matters most. Argentina also didn't cruise into this semifinal. They needed extra time to get past Switzerland, a team playing in their first World Cup quarterfinal in 72 years, a team that went down to 10 men in the second half. Julian Alvarez didn't find the winner until the 112th minute. That is not the form of a team that looks unstoppable. That is a team that is winning, but grinding every result out the hard way, with the clock working against them just as much as any opponent is. And there's history here too. England and Argentina have met at World Cups before, and the story has never gone England's way. 1986, the quarterfinal, Diego Maradona, and the Hand of God, 1998. The round of 16, a red card, and a penalty shootout defeat that haunted an entire generation of English players. Every England squad that has ever faced Argentina at this tournament has walked away with the same result. This current England side gets a chance few before them have had a shot at rewriting that history completely with the one player on the loo. Plan it in the kind of form that makes anything look possible. There's added weight on this England side too. England haven't lifted the World Cup since 1966. Nearly 60 years of near misses, penalty shootouts, and heartbreak have followed every generation since. Thomas Tuchel took this job knowing exactly what it required and that weight, and do it against the hardest possible opposition history keeps throwing in the path. A semifinal against the defending champions, against Messi, is the exact kind of match that ends managerial reputations or builds them forever. Tuchel doesn't get to ease into this. He walks straight into it, and so does his best player. And whoever wins this semifinal doesn't get to rest either. Waiting in the final is the winner of France against Spain, 2 of the form teams of the entire tournament. There is no easy road left from here for anybody. Every remaining match is the hardest match of the summer. So on July 15th in Atlanta, Argentina isn't just facing a talented young team. They're facing a player who has scored in 5 different matches this tournament, in 5 completely different ways, against a nation carrying nearly 60 years of painful history into this exact fixture, and a captain who knows this is very likely his last chance to do this again. Argentina has survived Switzerland. They have survived the pressure of an aging squad, facing history that no one has managed since Brazil in the 60s. But they haven't yet faced anyone playing like Jude Bellingham is playing right now. A player who doesn't wait for the moment to arrive. He arrives before it does. Argentina has a serious problem. And in Atlanta, he's coming to collect.